Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Question of the day for you to chat about and
Okay,
process
ready.
thinking about. So here's the question. So what do you do when you do an excellent hire, you get an A player and they get on the team and they're running too fast?
I love this question. And, I guess first thing, congratulations on hiring an A player.
That's a whole process in itself. Yep.
And then, second thing is instead of thinking of that as the end point, we found the person, we hired the A player. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And your question about the running fast, I think of it, Barbara, like it's natural for them to come in, be wanting to run fast, because if they are A players, they've had some kind of success all along the way that has been self-driven. And then when you pick them, they want to prove that you made the right choice. And so they tend to come out of the gate kind of fast. I actually sort of feel, in a joking kind of way, if you hire someone and they don't want to make a great impression at the beginning and kind of have an intensity about making, that's a big red flag. Like, oh, maybe, you kind of want to see that, because the human default mode and how our brain works with the amygdala and survival mode, right? The best A players will try to prove their worth and come out strong out of the gate to have an impact.
Right.
So,
Or just to contribute, like they actually, that
they
like
want
you
to
said,
they want to automatically be
they
bringing the
successful. Yeah.
change and the success. Like, it's coming from a really good place, which is why I say if you don't see it, well, I guess the only thing, if you don't see it, but they actually were trained by us, you might notice something different, but it'll be good. But
They'll
if
still be apparent, but they might have it harnessed. And part of that
yeah,
question, when I came with that question, was like, in
yeah,
my thinking as I was answering the question while I was asking it, was like, how do we harness that energy proactively? Because
mm-hmm,
otherwise, there's a little cleanup or stumbling that happens. At the same time, we don't want to squelch it and we don't want them to come in holding it back too much, right? So how do we harness that enthusiasm?
harness enthusiasm, harness their talent, let them know that their expertise will be good, put to good use here. I think it's like, and the way I was trying to answer in the beginning was like, this is a collective mindset shift. Like, you, the person now with this new team player doing the onboarding, and they're coming strong and fast. This is just the beginning. Now there's an onboarding phase for what it actually means to be applying your skills as the new hire in this particular company. And it's also a mindset shift for A players to have, that don't worry about needing to knock it out of the gate and prove your work. Don't be driven by that. Don't be driven by that amygdala response of your emotions. Instead, know we found a good hire in you and we want to set you up for success. So there is a process here. And really, the best leaders do know that I want to come in and really learn this organization so that I can best apply my skills here, as opposed to when you're coming hard and fast and you're ready to implement those positive changes that you were itching to implement. When you submitted your resume, you were thinking, I could probably help them with this. So you're already excited. And instead, learning that inside this company, being curious about how it really operates, and then bringing your gifts into application in a fuller way.
Yeah, I'm thinking of there's a leader who's in one of our programs. She's been working with us for several years, and she's had this opportunity to move into a new organization with her skills as a project manager. And as we were talking, and she was in this transition, like the week before she was actually going to start in the new role, as she was closing out her old role, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm already thinking of so many, like she was getting all like excited. Like, I'm thinking of so many things I can bring and share in this new role in this new company. And then she paused herself, right? And she's like, of course, I'm not there yet. And I'll have to first, see where they are at. Of course, like she caught herself to be in that. We want both and, You're right. We want to, in our hiring process, it's not like, okay, you're here. It's next step has a structure to it to set them up for success. And no matter what level of role that they're coming in with responsibilities and authority, you still need this step to say, here's how we're going to introduce you into the landscape of this company and the structure and organizational how we function here. And that orientation is such an important part of the onboarding process. So yeah, you want to hire well, but then there really is, a 30, 60, 90-day process that you want to be very mindful of in your leadership to bring people in that way.
Yes, and just to emphasize, so important, and don't be intimidated if you have a hire that has impressive experience. This idea, let's make this idea that in order to onboard, to set you up for success, we do have a process now of onboarding now that you're fully here, and just letting people know that they can be confident about that, because I can imagine a bunch of scenarios where the very best hire is coming in with all kinds of experience. It might even feel like they have more experience than we do. But at the same time, to best bring their talents to this organization, they have to learn this organization and why it has operated, how it's operated up until now. They really do have to learn that before they can have the best influence with the skills that they do bring. So I think my goal for this video, Barbara, let's have the onboarding mindset, onboarding always.
Yeah. And I'll add to that an inclusive onboarding process, because you want to be sure one of the great pieces of this is that you can set up the expectations that are agreed on, like so that people can really pace themselves and come in that way. So very conscious, inclusive onboarding is key. That's our note for today. To look at how you're operating in your team and your company and see how you might be able to implement some of this thinking into the best way to onboard and bring in the greatest talent that you're attracting today.